Girl talk sort of conjures up visions of a time warp to the 50s, doesn't it? As Brian said earlier, to Virginia Graham. Well, not this week. This week, Girls Talk is happening on Wednesday night to close the POV season on PBS. It's a story about 3 runaway girls who were brought together by our subject tonight, Alyson Denny. Alyson, welcome to Tomorrow's Television Tonight. You know, just seeing you, I can understand how you brought them to... You don't look old enough to be up this late, so... I mean, how did you... Well, these 3 girls, I mean, they have quite a lot in common. They are all 3 runaways. They're all 3 girls. They come from disparate homes. The discord seems to be almost palpable all the way through the film. At least 2 of them were seduced and or raped by stepfathers, stepbrothers, and their friends. But how did you find them, and how did you get them to trust you?
Kate Davis and myself, we were 2 filmmakers, spent 6 months researching how runaways spent their time in the Boston area, going to social service groups and hanging out on the streets, in strip clubs, and meeting girl after girl. And part of the 3 girls in Girl Talk was the choosing of the girls. And so the 3 we chose, Pinky, Mars, and Martha, we chose them partly because we got along so well to begin with when we met them, and then spent a lot of time with them with our cameras and sound equipment before we ever filmed anything.
Well, although their histories are remarkably similar, what they're doing at the time of the film is quite different. For instance, Pinky spends a lot of time dropping out of school. Mars is, of course, stripping. We're going to be showing a videotape of that in a moment. And 19-year-old Martha is just about to have a child, and then in fact has one before the end of the film. Do you want to set this up for us, where we see Mars actually taking it off as the baby stripper in one of Boston's sort of lesser than lively nightclubs, shall we say?
Sure. Well, the clip that we're going to see on this show is Mars. It's the 3rd of 3 dances that she does. She does them in sequence. In the film, they're interspersed throughout the film. And she starts on a tricycle in a Catholic schoolgirl uniform, and sort of hops around and flirts with the men to the song I Know What Boys Like. And then in the 2nd dance, she takes off her clothes. And in this 3rd dance that we see, well, it's part of the, excuse me, part of the 3rd dance is the Janis Ian tune that she chose. She choreographed and chose all the tunes. And this pink dance comes in the film right after Martha says the line, "I was used and I went out and let myself get used because I thought it was a way of life."
We'll be seeing that, in fact, right now. Martha is in fact introducing her dance. That is the case.
Okay, because that is a big part of the setup. I guess you're going to see the whole setup. So,
right now.
Here we go.
Anything to make it go away, make it stop. Anything. It wasn't to really, it was to get attention for someone to like me for once, someone to feel bad for me, because everything that happened, nobody did, nobody cared, you know, and I was going to do what I could to make them care. Right down to a lot of casual sex, which now I realize was because of my father, you know. He used me and I went out and let myself get used because it was a way of life. And I thought that's the only way that people would like me, you know. Lights and promises, a pocket full of dreams. That's what they paid me to be. Gold and diamonds, I am a hometown queen. Honey, would you sing it just for
never mind. We'll leave that bit out. But we were looking at her face during the course of this. It was almost a complete blank. Now, Mars is no longer in this particular smoke-ridden room. She's now elsewhere, but she's still in the same kind of job.
She's now in California, and she's still stripping, but in a juice bar.
In a non-alcoholic strip. Wow, that certainly makes a change.
And she can't do her routine that she does in this club because they don't have room for a tricycle. In this
What a pity, the candy-coated tricycle.
Yeah.
But is she still into being a baby? She called the bartender Daddy.
Yeah, that's a refuge that she uses everywhere she goes, and she's very bouncy. And the first time we met her, we walked into the bar, and she ran up to us with a stuffed animal.
Well, now what about Martha? Martha was the one who, in fact, had a baby, so stuffed animals would definitely be a part of her life now.
Yes.
She was going back to college, had to drop out because of financial reasons, and?
She actually went back to college after the baby, but in any case, and now has a job as a secretary, but before having the baby, she was out on the streets for quite some time after being sexually abused by her adopted father.
That seems to be a chord that runs all through that. It's something we will definitely have to watch, and we'll have to watch POV, the concluding episode, Girl Talk, this Wednesday night on PBS. Thanks very much for joining us, Alyson. Come back again.
Okay.
Keep those kids off the streets.